Hi YouTubers, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've made my last shelter video. When they first came out, I still don't know what to do with them, to be honest. I built a couple of shelters, just kind of standard little camps downstairs, a kill room. So check out those videos if you want some of those ideas. And I built one that had a farm upstairs and almost the entire camp downstairs, but you still have to build quite a bit upstairs to make that work, right? But I still, even with the full camp, I still don't use it. I prefer to use a camp upstairs myself. But anyway, so hopefully one day we'll get inspired and find like a good use for these shelters. But I have seen some creative videos, so check out other people's shelter builds, go visit people's shelters, and you should be able to get some ideas. Even though this utility room is fairly small, there's more space than you might think there is. And then of course the medium fallout first shelter and then the HM shelters are pretty large and you can get pretty creative. Anyway, so for this video I just want to cover some build tips for those people that don't know how to start their shelters, what to do, where to start. We'll cover those. The main things I want to cover is floors, which are still bugged. I'll show you what I mean by that. And it looks like Bethesda has done a quick and dirty fix, or not even a fix. They've turned snapping off on the floor, so they don't even snap into the blue grid anymore because it was broken. But they haven't also fixed it either, which is just kind of, I think, shameful on their part. At least that's the way it seems. Somebody can correct me if that's not the case, right? And then we'll talk about a little bit about the doorway. If you do follow the blue grid, you got this gap between the doorway, and I always thought people had this extra kind of piece that kind of covered that gap, but it looks like they've kind of built in a different way, and I think I'm going to try and do that this build. Normally I'd follow the blue grids. I would suggest, let me just go here, I would suggest you start in the corner here. There's this actual blue square tile, which I would normally recommend, and I did recommend in my last video to start. But I think I'm going to try and start at the doorway and see if we can cover that gap and make it a little bit nicer. Unfortunately, the floors still do not snap in. So even though we have, let's turn snapping on, as you can see, they no longer snap into the grid at all. Looks like Bethesda stopped the floors from snapping in to cover up the broken floors. They used to snap in and kind of get glitched into the walls and stuff like that. So they've either kind of stopped people from glitching and stuff, or they've kind of just done a kind of a workaround, and you still can't snap floors into this grid, which I'm pretty sure was the whole intention initially, right? Otherwise, having this raised flooring, which doesn't actually level with the door, doesn't make a lot of sense. Plus, in the first room, this little, I don't know, spawn area, if you will. You can't really put two tiles here nicely, so you can't actually even cover the floors. You can put kind of like one in the middle, and I think you can actually get some of the half floors on the sides, but then you can't put textures on those half floors. So I mean, it doesn't look quite complete, right? So my suggestion is just leave this tile alone, and then we're gonna want to put floors here over here, right? So anyway, so we're gonna cover the floors. We'll do the floors, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put some walls up. I'll probably put some roofs. We're gonna deal with the power before we get started with the walls, and let's see how far we go. We probably won't finish the shelter, but hopefully we'll get far enough that you guys can get started. Anyway, so let's start with the floors off the bat here, if we can. And like I say, you normally would sort of put it here somewhere, but I'm going to go right up to the door as far as we can. We're going to have to turn snapping off for this first floor, just like we did last time. Try and get it as even as you can, as close to the door. And the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure it's lined up with the blue. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean by that, because it's quite easy to, because we don't have snapping off, you want to make sure that it's actually in line with the blue line there, so it's straight. Take a look at the door here, make sure that it's actually straight. And before you start and don't get too creative and start putting all the floors down, let's put some walls up here. I might actually have some walls. Make sure that your walls, let's turn snapping back on. Just another tip, sometimes if you turn snapping off and then you use stored items, you can't actually turn snapping on. You'll see there is no snapping option at the bottom. Just flip over to something else and you'll see there's a snapping option. Turn it back on and you can go back to stored. Okay, so the thing we want to test here is make sure that our walls will actually snap. And there they do. Okay. Because sometimes if you get them too close to the wall, it's not going to actually snap in because you're too close to the wall. So we want to make sure, and then you want to make sure kind of the gap, it's as close as possible. I don't think I'll get it closer than that. And that you can't actually see through, just so it looks nice. You don't want to have to redo this whole thing. And then finally, let's actually put a door and make sure it actually can snap and we haven't got it too close to the wall. And there we go. So that looks good, I think. As you can see, the floor is lifted up. It looks kind of crappy in a way, but you can't actually build it any other way. So you can either wait one day and they'll fix it, or if you want to build your shelter, just go ahead and build it, right? And then we'll have to correct it, redo our shelters at some point, right? Okay, so once you've got that first floor in, let's go and make sure we can do the rest of the floors. So let's actually do exactly that. Let's actually lay down all the other floors. Okay, so we are going to lose some space here. I probably wouldn't put a floor at the end, just because I don't think we're going to be able to snap any walls in the end there. But let's actually take a quick look here. I doubt we will, but let's see. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to snap any walls. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that somewhere else. Again, I don't think we're going to be able to snap some walls here, but let's actually just check that. We can snap walls. You can use. Oh, that's not bad. I'm actually surprised that worked. All right. I didn't think that would work, to be honest, but that is okay. So as long as the walls, always test to make sure the walls will snap, because otherwise you get carried away with your build and you come back and then you've kind of designed it in a way that now you have to kind of back out, right? So. Okay, so there we got some floors down. That's kind of our build area. As you can see, it's a decent amount of space. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll build like a living room down the bottom end here. I'll build a kitchen in this corner here. I'll build a little bedroom area in this corner. But again, you can build rooms. You can build these little rooms. I've seen some really, like I said, some creative designs of people doing stuff. I like it to be a little bit more open plan. You can build bar area. I mean, yeah, it's up to you, right? But anyway. The point of this video is just to try and get you started so you can be creative and get inspired and actually do something with these empty shelters that a lot of us kind of have here, right? So before we get carried away here, let me actually store this one because I'm going to want to deal with some power. Let's deal with how the power works. So power, unfortunately, again, another, I think, silly design. I mean, if we go back to Fallout 4, and the Vault 88 and the kind of original intention, even though it didn't work as like that, is the entire thing should just be powered. Why do we have to deal with wires and power in a vault, right? So I really hope they will come with some update that we can just, it's just powered. We don't have to deal with it. It's just like, everything's powered. But oh my God. Anyway, so in order to get power, we need to put power, these little power generators. I think it's under the generator. So you get these special little power converter things. Unfortunately, you can't just put one. You have to put a whole bunch of them down. So let's go ahead and do that. You don't need them everywhere. We can just kind of let's put them. We might need to come and add some later, but I think every kind of you can put them every kind of tile if you want. We won't deal with that. Okay, so make sure you're gonna need copper and stuff. Actually, before I do this, let me just put my contractor perk on, just so I don't run out of okay, I've just done that. supply. So you, just for those that I probably went and did that too fast. But anyway, there's a contractor perk just for those that aren't familiar with this, that are new to the game. That'll allow your crafting workshop items now to cost 50% less materials, so you don't have to go hunt for materials as much and as quickly. So yeah, definitely if you are building your camp or in your shelter, make sure you got that equipped. Okay, because I tend to run out of copper and stuff here, right? So okay, so let's just put that there, and we'll see how we do for power. So yeah, deal with the power before you put the walls. Is a little bit easier to do that, because otherwise you put the walls and you got to come back and you got to kind of work behind the walls and stuff, which isn't terrible, but you know, it's easier just to deal with it when you're kind of looking for it. So that's that. The next thing we want to do, unfortunately, that's not just it. You have to actually put some connectors. So we're going to grab some connectors here. It's kind of stupid. You can put them anywhere on the walls. It doesn't matter. What I do is I just slam them straight onto these converters just to keep it neat. Probably a better way to do this, but anyway, this is what I do. It seems to do the trick. Now, unfortunately, even though these are on the wall, the power doesn't actually reach the middle of the floor, and I'll show you what you're probably gonna need to do. You might have to figure that out. You can do that afterwards. Oh, this one's floating. Let's make sure it's actually on the wall, so it's out the way. That's a nice thing with shelters, is you can float stuff, you can put stuff in the air, you can do whatever you want, you can put chairs in the air, whatever to your fancy. There's less restrictions. Okay, so once we've done that, let's just quickly link them up. Otherwise you won't get any power. Okay, so just do that to all of them. And again, depending where you need power in the middle of the floor, you're gonna have to kind of just come back and do that. This just really hides all the wires. You don't have to have wires freaking all over your shelter, which is the last thing you want. We all hate the look of these wires. They don't look pretty at all. So this is just going to help us hide these behind the walls. We don't have to worry about power. It's just, I think it is silly that we still have to do this, but okay. Okay, so I'm probably going to have like a table in the middle of the floor here somewhere. So if you do actually want lights, unfortunately, in the middle, we're going to have to do something like this, right? You're going to have to put some power on the ceiling somewhere. And we may have to adjust these later on. We'll see how we do. You're going to kind of link them up. And that'll pretty much bring power to your middle of the floor. Again, kind of silly we have to do that, but and yeah, just let's not make sure we link it to the bottom here, so it actually does have power, right? And if you really want, just go around and create some. What you can do is you can just to make sure that your power is actually working. Grab a light here, make sure it lights up. You know, and then you can. It's probably not the best one. Install that. Kind of hard to see if that light's actually working there, right? Get something that actually shows up. I guess, you know, turning off your lights, yeah. And move it around, and then you can see that we do actually have power everywhere. You can do this before we started, and you'll notice if we take it over here, where we don't actually have power, you'll see it doesn't light up, right? So, you know, so if you want to just put it around, you'll see where you have light. Let's see if we can take it down here. And yeah, so it kind of goes around. Whether we still need this, we'll see. Maybe we'll remove that. Actually, let's disconnect. See if we still need this. Maybe I've got enough power distributed. I know in one of my camp builds I did that, and I didn't have power in the middle. Now this is a little bit taller light. Maybe I used a table lamp, and that's why I had to do that. It still seems to light up. Okay, so let's store this for the moment, because it's probably going to mess with our roofs and stuff. Okay, let's leave that one there. Okay, let's store that. Okay. Okay, so now we have power. We've got power resolved. I wanted to. Okay, let's deal with the walls. So it doesn't matter what walls you use. In fact, the cheapest walls are, in fact, especially if you can use. Let me just rephrase that. If you don't have, if you don't use, you don't have to put concrete walls, for instance. The cheapest walls to build, of course, is wood, and if you're going to use wallpaper, it really doesn't matter what the wall is. So just use the cheapest, which in case is typically wood, right? If you have some other reason to use non-wood, then use that for whatever reason you have that, right? Okay, so let's make sure. Oh, it's actually not snapping this one. Okay, let's actually see if we can still snap this one. Do I have not snapping off? Maybe is that why? Oh no, I do have snapping on. Oh, it's not snapping now at the moment. Pretty sure it snapped earlier on. Oh, you know what it is, because of this power converter, isn't it? That's probably what it is. Okay, so let's maybe, that's what it is. So yeah, you gotta be careful. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I don't want to do that because I might run into some issue. Okay, let's move this guy. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Yeah, so we might have to come revisit this build. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. Let's just make sure we snap it back. Okay, so yeah, because we have no space behind the wall, so just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go back to walls. Like I said, you can just use whatever this. Make sure it's faced backwards. And again, just let's do the textures. Again, making sure that we use the textures are the right way that we want them. Otherwise, if you've got the wall backward, it might not be the direction that you need them. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue. I think I have a stored wall. We might as well take use of it. Should only be one, and let's switch to wood. Okay, so we're going to put wood all around. Again, I have seen people create builds without walls. They look pretty decent. The walls aren't terrible, but of course, I think it looks a lot nicer with walls. We're doing something, yeah. I got two tiles, yeah, is that what it is? It looks like, eh? Did I mess it up? Again, we're gonna have to fix that power on the wall there. So you see the blue, the water stain, yeah. Kind of stupid. Okay, so we're just gonna move this hopefully around the corner. I guess that was floating. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so let's just do the textures quick, which will hopefully generate quite easy. And I think textures are still free on the walls. I don't know if that is the case. I haven't tested. So if you don't have a lot of these textures, actually, and you've been playing the game, I did notice if you hadn't played the game, you wouldn't see the old textures. You wouldn't see all of them. You'd see the ones that were made available since you started playing, right? Okay, so we've dealt with the walls. So deal with the walls, deal with the floor, deal with the door before you get started, and this will probably save you a lot of frustration down the road. Okay. Okay, so you can, like I said, the roof looks pretty decent. It looks kind of neat. It kind of looks, you know, a little industrial. I've definitely have a shelter with and without the roof. Obviously, with the roof, it looks a little bit neater. I don't like the roof, the look of the roof, the wooden roof myself. It just makes things a little bit more darker. Let me show you what I mean by that. If you put that up here. So you've got that, and I've just, you know, if you guys don't have any other roofs and you just don't like the roof, then use that. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not kind of what I like myself, so let's take that out. I do like, if you did play season 2 and you got these rewards, these roofs do actually look pretty nice. So let's go ahead and put the glass roofs up while we're here. You can still see through the glass roof and you can still get that kind of texture roof, which is fine. It does look a little bit neater and kind of cozier. For those that don't have the glass roof, I'd probably suggest just leave it open. Like I said, the top roof doesn't look terrible, as bad as you might think. But whatever you guys want to do. Okay, so there we go. There's our room, our basic room in there. You got this foyer. Let's go ahead and put a door on this. It comes with some default doors here. I don't think we have much of a choice here. It's really just one door, I think, to be honest. Okay, so you got this door, which you can place here. This gives you that closed look. I don't think we can put anything else. In fact, you can, if you want. You can put this door. It doesn't need a frame or anything. And as you can see, we can open, close it if you want. You know, some people might prefer that. So let's leave that there. Can we put a frame here? Let's try to put a frame here and see how nice it looks. And then we don't have to use the default doors, yeah. We'll make it a little bit more cozy if we can, right? So let's jump back to our walls. We don't need that. Let's see if we can do... But we want to turn it around so we can have some texture there, right? Okay, and let's give the wall some texture. So yeah, you could do something like that if you want, and then it'll give maybe a little bit more homey feel, or you could just use the default door if you want, and then, you still got to get through here. So whether you got this door, yeah, you got that door, both will work. I mean, that's fine, I think. All right, let's actually get that. When I'm looking at it, kind of seems a bit off here. Oh, I didn't know if that was going to work, but okay, let's take this door, let's put it here for a sec. Let's just line that up a little bit nicer. Well, it's kind of lined up. Kind of looked off there. It is a little bit off, I suppose. Okay. So there you go. Your choice, dealer's choice, what you want to do. Well, we can't get that close though, right? Maybe I... oh, there we go. A little bit closer to the wall. Makes it a little bit more homey there, I guess. Okay, let me see what other doors I got here. Maybe I don't like that door. Since now the choice is really whatever doors you guys have. Thought I had some more options. Yeah, you can even do the security door like that. Oh, you can do that as well. Yeah, let's go with the fireplace. Again, that's a season 1 reward for those. Let's go ahead with that. Kind of gives that kind of closed feel a little bit, I guess, right? Okay, let's not spend too much time on this. Okay, so let's deal with lighting. Let's put some lights here. Let's get it lit up a little bit if we can. I knew that was going to happen. I'm out of copper, right? All right. Okay, I'm just going to go get some more copper upstairs. Yeah, that's why you want that contractor perk on, just so you don't run out of copper. So I'm probably going to make this a couple part video. I'm sure I'm going to run out of materials at some point. So I'll just start this off. As you can see, we got the walls up and running. We got the floor down. You got the powered outwards. I think those are the main challenges for people, just to figure some of that stuff out. As you can see, dealing with the power is pretty easy once you kind of understand it. And then yeah, you just be creative. But anyway, we'll continue. I might make this in like maybe a 1, 2, or 3 part video where I'll kind of try and complete that build as best I can. Okay, I'm just gonna come down here quick. Let me just... Gosh. Okay, I'm sure I'm going to run out of copper. I've got some, but it's certainly not enough. You're going to need quite a bit of copper if you're going to do a lot of lighting and stuff. Anyway, I should have enough to get me mostly what I want to do. We'll see how far we get. Alrighty, so we got some lights up. Let's put one more over here if we can. We'll do the same on this side. So again, I mean, whatever you guys want to do, you can float any of the stuff. Just so you know, you can put them down here if you want. Anything floats here, just for those guys that don't know. Obviously, try and make it look like it's connected. Be more convincing, right? Okay, so what I want to do in the front here is I want to build a TV screen, right? So obviously you can use the standard TVs that we get, but we're going to be a little bit more creative. What we're going to do is we're going to actually create, we're going to use a half wall here. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. Go down to any half wall, we're going to turn it around, and we're going to change the texture. And what we can do is we can create a big screen TV, which actually looks pretty dope. Okay, so you just float it against the wall a little bit without it actually changing the texture. Now, if you have the black wallpaper, that obviously looks black because, you know, I've seen people put black wall texture and then they write Sony on the TV to make it look like a TV, which is kind of neat. But I'm going to do something different here. So there, let's go look at pack textures. I don't have any black wallpaper. Some people say this one looks the best, and then you can kind of do that. I mean, that's not bad. That's pretty decent looking. In fact, yeah, so you can use that one. I might actually go ahead and use that one, but what I've actually, let me see if I can find it. Where was that other texture? I don't know if I have it, but let me see if we can. I found a different texture that kind of looked like it was a little bit better, but that black one's not bad, and that's pretty standard. Oh, that one's not bad either. Yeah, so maybe I don't have access to all of those textures. Maybe they fixed that. Maybe that's why I don't have the other texture. Obviously, we don't want that. I mean, that doesn't look terrible either. Huh. Yeah, I used one. I found one in my other camp. Maybe my other character has access to it, but I'm gonna go ahead with that one. That one actually doesn't look terrible. But what I'm going to do as well, which actually gives it some sort of life to it, if you want, let's see if we can find, where would it be? I'm looking for the mirror ball. So you want to try and find the mirror ball. I think Graham has it, or somebody has it. Anyway, I'm sure you can find it. But anyway, let's see if we can find that, and I'll show you what happens. Yeah. Hopefully I have it here somewhere. Pretty sure I do. Well, we're going to use that as well. We're going to put these are just the strobe lights. We're going to put these here. It makes it look. Okay, I'm going to put a couple of these over here. Okay, and then let's see, where would my mirror ball be? Probably, yeah, I'm guessing. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. It's actually got a separate item. So I place a mirror ball, just kind of, you might have to kind of mess around a little bit. And that actually, that one's probably a little bit closer, maybe. And then actually just put some kind of, you know, something on the screen a little bit. You'll see as we keep on building, it'll come together as we put more lights and stuff in there, right? But anyway, you can be creative. I think I might have even put, I might have actually even put a thing on the floor to give it some additional light. Let's see if we can do that. If we can find that, it's probably under here, I would guess. One of these guys put on the floor somewhere. I think I probably did this. And that way you kind of have more light on the TV itself, so it doesn't look as dark. See if I place it closer. Yeah, you kind of want it further away just to put some movement. Yeah, I used a different color and I think it looked a little bit better, but I might have had more lighting. I was more, you know, finishing the build. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue here. And then I might just call it for this video, and then yeah, look out for part 2. We'll continue in part 2, but that gives you kind of a starting ground where you can start and get, you know, start putting the kitchen in there. The other thing you can do is, and let me show you a quick tip before I leave. You know, that thing, I know I'm going to build a kitchen here, so the other thing I'm going to do here is change this door, change this to a doorway. So I'll show you another quick tip here. We're going to then go and grab a cooking stove. You'll need to get the plan for those new players, but grab a cooking stove from a vendor or the plan. You can buy them down in Lewisburg, and there are quite a few places. It's quite easy to get hold of. But anyway, it's called cooking. I think it's called cooking stove. Under crafting. And then yeah, so you can that's an atomic skin there, but you know the standard one will be this one. I'm going to go with this atomic skin. So you can either just put it against the wall and it looks fine, nothing wrong with that at all. But if you don't like the look of the pipe, what you can do is you can kind of come put it in the doorway. Yeah. Not quite there. Let's actually change. I think I need to go a bit back. You're going to have to just play around. You don't want to get too deep in there. I think I still have to go quite a bit back there, to be honest. Yeah, that's probably going to do it. You kind of want to just line it up there, make it a little bit straight so you don't have to come back and change it. And then we're going to go back and we're going to go back to wall. We're going to hit the X to replace. And we're going to change this back to irregular wall. Okay. It's still sticking out a little bit, you see that? But you can see most of it's actually in the wall. I mean, that doesn't look terrible because you kind of see that, but that's not what I want. So let's change it back to a door. Let's go a bit back. Oh, it doesn't make any difference by the looks of it. I really got to get into the wall, don't I? You know, it's too far back in. Being a little finicky, isn't it? There you go. Okay, so that way you can hide the pipes. You've got this really clean looking stove that's kind of looks like it's actually built into the wall. It's a little in deep. You'll see once we put other stuff in here, it's maybe a little bit close to the wall. Also make sure that you test it, just so you can, you know, it's actually going to be usable. And there it is, that's fine. Okay, so let's do, let's just start building since we're here at the kitchen anyway. I was probably going to start in the living room, but since we're here, why not? I think I do have the fridge. I don't know why it's on. I'll be on the stash boxes, my guess, right? Mm. Oh, nice. Oh, maybe it was on the appliances. Oh, you can put a stove here as well. Oh, maybe it's on the miscellaneous items. Yeah, I'm looking for the refrigerator. I don't know where it's at. Well, you'd think it'd be one of these two, right? And it normally shows up as atomic item. I don't see it there. I'm pretty sure I have it on this character, but stash boxes. I thought it would be. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe not. Hidden somewhere, I guess. Floor decor, maybe. Alright, not a biggie. I'll come find it. It's here somewhere, I'm sure. I'll see if I can find it. I might not have it on this character, very unlikely, but anyway, I will find it and then we can come back. So we've got the kitchen there, and one thing I wanted to do before I ended the video, let's put a table here, like a little kitchen table. But more specifically, I wanted to see if the light would actually work. I think. Yeah, we can do that as well. Oh, that does seem to work. One thing about these little strobe lights, again, it's a season reward. They tend to stop working. When you first put them down, they work, and then they stop working, which is kind of weird. I've definitely noticed that. It does that kind of cool. Okay, I'm looking for. Okay, let's just go. Oh, let's. Sure, let's just do that one. Yeah, it does seem to work without me needing to put you know, those extra utility lights or those power connectors upstairs. So it looks like we have a nice spread of the those little generators behind the wall. All right, so that's our little dining area. We'll create a little kitchen area over here. We'll come back and we'll fill this up with a living room. We got our TV up and running. And then yeah, in the front here, we'll figure out what we want to do. You can be pretty creative, yeah. Normally I just fill it up with workbenches or whatever. But I think what I'll do, similar to what I did before, is I'll create like a little outdoor area over here, and then the rest we'll put some crafting benches and stuff. So again, you can create little rooms here if you want to hide that stuff. Maybe you create a room in this little section. I've definitely seen people create, like there's one that created like 5 rooms in this entire thing, and it still looked pretty decent. It looks like we used a different texture, yeah. It's all the same. All right. I might have used a little bit different texture there. Yeah, so it's slowly coming together. As you can see, the lighting, you know, is we went from this sort of relatively dim, dark. It's still a little bit dim. We'll still come here. Let me just actually do this quick. So I don't like those dark corners there myself. Where is it? Probably this one, yeah. Yes, there's a couple of things. These are kind of neat, these little lights here. I think I'll probably just go with these. I might switch these up. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, so you know, you saw it, as you can see, it is coming together slowly. It's well lit up now, and yeah, I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff with this. You know, make a nice little camp downstairs, living area, put some beds, and you know, you could even, like I said, create a farm upstairs and just have pretty much your entire camp downstairs if you'd like, if you need the extra room for your camp. Anyway, this is part 1. I will come back and make a part 2, and then maybe we'll make a part 3 video, depending how far we can get with part 2. But there you go. Hope you found it useful. If you did, hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you have not done so already. And yeah, provide me some comments what you think and what you've done, and if you have any creative uses for your shelter that's actually useful versus non-useful, and it's just a prison or something. And if you actually use your shelter, right? I mean, it's one thing to build it and we walk away and we don't actually use it on a daily basis, but some people might religiously use it. You know, for me, I have generally 2 camps all at one time, and I always tend to fall and they use the other camp. But anyway, we will come back and do part 2. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.